What's up YouTube, this is Craig Peters here, and I know it's been a while since I've posted a video. It's been about 4 or 5 months or so I apologize, but a lot has changed in the last few months. I've moved, started a new job, always kind of working on a bunch of different stuff, so I apologize, but I do want to start posting more videos. So for some of you guys who follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you'll see I did a post asking you guys if you guys have any questions. I thought it'd be fun to do sort of a Q&A thing with you guys, doing something a little bit more interactive than just reviews or demos and stuff. So you guys had questions, I'm giving you answers. Stick around, we're doing this shit. Got my Breaking Bad cup. Now don't worry, there's no blue meth in this, or maybe there is, I don't know. Yeah, there's blue meth in this. Matt Demmel asks, approximately how much time did you spend on the writing phase for the DTD album? Same for the newest Deeds album. How did you deal with conflict and disagreements between band members? Excellent question, Matt. As far as the writing phase for the Destroying the Devoid album, it was over the span of maybe 4 years or so. I mean, I wasn't really too hardcore writing at the beginning. I was actually doing some writing, or some stuff that actually ended up on the DTD album. I was writing towards the end, before I left Archaic, so I was already kind of in the writing mode, but not hardcore for what ended up becoming Destroying the Devoid. So yeah, I would say over the span, of 4 years or so, but once I got a home studio, that's when things started kind of cranking up a little bit. I mean, as far as Deeds of Flesh goes, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, I was working on a solo album at the same time as writing the newest Deeds of Flesh album. It's been about 5 years or so since Portals came out, so I mean, probably around the span of that time that we've been working on it. As far as dealing with conflict with band members, I mean, for Deeds of Flesh, honestly, we really don't have that much conflicts. I mean, if really anything, it's very, very minor things. Maybe if I'm doing pre-production and there's like a certain drum beat I might have in mind, I might, let Darren know, hey, there's a certain thing that I kind of wanted to do with this riff, and maybe he'll do it, or maybe he'll have another idea and it'll be better than mine. So, I mean, the more you are in a band with people, you tend to not be so like clingy to your riffs, because it's really just, you have to think outside the box. You can't, if you're going to be in a band with people, it's a relationship, it's a compromise. You can't be a dickhead about it. I mean, if you're one of those guys who are just like, no, 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 no one's gonna want to be in a band with you. I mean, that's the beauty of being in a solo project. If you don't want to deal with the a-hole band members, then just do a solo project. Not saying all band members are a-holes, but some are. But yeah, if you're gonna deal with conflict, I mean, just be cool about it. Try everything out. Lafferty Daniels asks, any tips on how to stop solos from sounding boxy? Don't play box positions when you're doing solos. For me, I found one of the things I usually do with a lot of my students is taking a scale, any 7-note scale, play the first 6 notes, use the 7th note, the passing tone, to slide into the next octave and play the same 6 notes. So you have 6 notes and you just play that same group of 6 notes through each octave using the passing tone to slide into each octave. And I found that to be pretty helpful, and it's a really cool way to get out of the box really quickly. And then of course, learning each box position so you can play within those two and then sort of meld it all together. And I found that to be pretty helpful. Try that out. What the what?
Bish what?
Chanthilla? Sorry if I say your name wrong. What the what? Chanthilla asks, left or right hand technical? Well, I guess you have your left hand and right hand sometimes plays, so you have your left hand here, and then you have your right hand, and which sometimes plays technical too. So I guess when you're playing too, so I don't know. Sure, why not? Nondas Gosopoulos asks, why do ladies love blast beats so much? Because they're f***ing nuts. I'm just kidding. I don't know, because girls like blast beats too, whatever. I don't know, it's not a big deal. Who cares, so what? Tyrus Ford asks, do you have a practice regime? And also, what do you do to get out of writer's block? Excellent question. I don't really have a practice regime, to be honest. I mean, I've been playing a long time now. Sometimes I feel like I should be practicing a little bit more. I mean, I should be practicing more, but as the years go on, I don't work on just guitar anymore. My priorities have changed a lot in certain ways. Back when I was just in a band, my only priority was just trying to be the best guitar player that I could. Now, I mean, since I've had a home studio, I've gotten into, orchestral programming and just being able to write on the computer. So now I kind of approach it more of just being sort of like a composer, I guess. If my guitar playing is lacking and I need to record guitar, I'll practice guitar. If my orchestral programming and MIDI orchestration stuff is lacking, which I could be getting better at it, I'm always trying to get better at it, then I'll work on that or do research on that. I'm always kind of like, if I want to learn something, I'll look it up and learn it. I never went to school. I didn't go to school for any of this stuff. This is all just, self-taught, just learning stuff on the internet, and that's why, honestly, my thing on school is, it's like, the information's out there. As far as getting out of writer's block, what I find to be helpful is, I mean, of course, you know, people say listen to different music. I don't really listen to a lot of death metal. Most of the time, I'm listening to a lot of film scores, video game scores and stuff. To me, I like listening to the intricacies of the orchestration and just how it sounds. I think, I don't know, that stuff just, it does something for me. I've been listening to metal and death metal since I was a kid, so I mean, you know, the first album I ever heard was Injustice for All when I was in, like, I don't know, 3rd grade or something. So I've heard a lot of metal. Something about orchestral music, it just, I don't know. But I would say listen to different music. That's kind of the obvious. Or I would say try just playing a different instrument. For me, I think that whenever I have writer's block, let's say if I'm working on destroying the devoid stuff or something, usually what I'll do is I'll just, you know, because I have a template just loaded with a bunch of instruments and stuff. So what I'll do is maybe I'll just go to a different instrument and just play around with it. Or like if I'll write something in MIDI. I did this on the first album actually, like when I started adding synths and stuff to my solos, I would take some Guitar Pro MIDIs that I wrote and I would bring it into Logic at the time, and then I would just kind of drag it through different synth instruments and just see what sounds cool, and that might spark a cool idea, or it might, you know, influence you to do something different. So just hearing different sounds, I think, is just, for me, it just kind of triggers it. So I don't know, you could try that, see if it works for you. Forrest Johnson asks, what are your biggest influences for Deeds of Flesh, and do you plan to evolve the sound with the next album? For my biggest influences for Deeds, I gotta say is Deeds of Flesh, because before joining Deeds, I was a huge Deeds of Flesh fan. So, I mean, getting to join the band is obviously, you know, it's pretty big for me. So the big one is Deeds. I mean, I guess being that I wasn't in the band forever, it's a little bit easier for me because my influences, I used to write riffs that would sometimes sound like Deeds in other projects. So now the fact that I can write riffs that sound like Deeds being in Deeds makes it a little bit easier, I guess. As far as the evolution of the album, I mean, bands are always trying to evolve, you know? I mean, some bands try to evolve and the fans just step on their foot and they say no, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, I mean, bands are gonna do what they're gonna do. I mean, I personally, I don't write for anyone except for me. I mean, you always hope people like it, but at the end of the day, if I don't like it, you're not gonna hear it. When it comes to evolving the sound, I mean, you know, I think what I wanted to do with this upcoming album was basically sort of meld all generations of Deeds together. So like old school stuff, new school stuff, new stuff you guys haven't heard Deeds do. So I mean, yeah, I mean, of course we're always trying to evolve. That's just the nature of being a musician. You want to evolve, hopefully. Nicholas Berg asks, when is new Deeds coming? This is probably the question I get asked the most. The album is pretty much done. So, I mean, we're still doing some tracking. But, I mean, as far as the music goes, we're all done. We're taking our time doing certain aspects of it, so we're not trying to rush it. This is the most I've contributed on a Deeds album, so I'm, you know, pretty excited for you guys to hear it. But, I mean, sadly, with the, you know, with us not having Mike Hamilton anymore, I mean, I love that guy. That guy's awesome. We added Darren Seska, who is a phenomenal drummer. That guy is, if you hear his drum tracks, he sent me just his raw drum tracks, and they are pretty beastly. So, yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff on the horizon for Deeds, so I can't wait for you guys to hear it. But as far as when, keep following us on social media and you'll know. So stop asking me. You can keep asking me, it's fine. I'll tell you the same answer. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank you guys for shooting me your questions. If you guys have any other questions, drop them in the comments. Goodbye.